Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back to your morning OJ with
OKEEBA.
And this is Johnny. Oh man, we really appreciate the support we've been getting. It's really good to be back in the studio with you, brother. It's been a little break because we've been busy. I mean, even we get busy. That's part of running a successful business. But we're back today. So before we dive into it, as always, if you have not already subscribed to Young Black Entrepreneur Magazine, I'm not sure what you're waiting on. We've been telling you this for years. You see the people we've been highlighting, and the evolution is only going better and better. So go ahead over to ybemag.com and subscribe to get everything you need to know and everything you will need to know about running a successful business. Now today, we've been waiting on this topic for a while. We talked about this one in the beginning of the season. Doing business with the black church.
Oh God.
Now before we go into it, I know some people go, well, why you saying the black church? Because there are certain business things that pertain to doing business with a black church that don't have anything to do with any other church
at all.
They don't operate like that in the Hispanic church, in the Caucasian church, in the Asian church, in the African church. It just doesn't go that way
at all.
These are things that are for our churches, right?
Yeah.
So, and this is not a knock on any church, but this is definitely, hopefully, going to be a light on the topic for all the churches that are trying to run business, but doing it horribly. For all the churches that need to run business, whether that's for additional streams of revenue, whether that's for expansion, whether that's for growth, whatever the reason is, I understand churches doing business, but a lot of the black churches are just not doing business, not good business.
They're doing mob business
and Negro business.
Yeah, street.
You know what I'm saying? So we want to dive right into it. And I mean, I know you've had a ton of experience with this topic, and we try to keep our conversations neutral, right? So we're not gonna ever call a name, but we do want to talk specifically because a big part of our business is transparency. You know, for the people that work with us, you know, we keep it as you would say, all the way 100. You know, we keep it a buck all day long. So we're going to be transparent, but it's not going to be to expose you. We're not going to say your name. We're not going to tell your address, but we're going to tell our real stories. We're going to tell our truth, because if you're not, you know, putting truth to power, what are you doing? And that's what we're going to be doing today. So just give us one scenario of bad business you've experienced with the black church. But then on the flip side of that, because we don't ever bring a problem without a solution, after you tell that story, I want you to go into what could have made that business proper.
Okay. I think one of the issues when you look at the black church and organization as a whole, black churches are built off of donations, grants, tithes and offerings, basically free money.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? So when you're built on free money, then your reality is different about managing your business. You know what I mean? So instead of hiring somebody who is equipped and skilled to serve in whatever the capacity they're serving in, the black church will go grab somebody out of the congregation. You know what I'm saying? And I understand wanting one of your own to do X, Y, and Z. But does we're in Atlanta, does the CEO of Georgia Power sit in your congregation? No. Snapping shows? No. But the lights are on. You know what I mean? So if you had to depend on somebody that was actually in your congregation to provide you with lights, what would happen?
Good problem.
You'd be out of lights. You know, so one of the issues with the black church, and then I'm gonna lead into my experience, is that you have so many people who are not qualified to do what it is that they're signing up to do. And that just creates a big problem. You know what I mean? Because if you're signing a plumber up to be the electrician, you're gonna have a mess. You know what I mean? So looking at like our business,
he could be cross-trained.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have some things going on. You know what I mean? So looking at, you know, like some of my experiences where you would think that the black church at one point in time was a place where we would go to get peace. You know what I'm saying? To go to build ourselves up. But when you're doing business with these jokers, it's always letting me manipulate you, letting me back you in the corner, letting me steal from you, all in the name of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? And I've been in situations where I've had these jokers want to pray before we went into our business meeting. And as soon as they get finished praying,
fangs out.
Man, fangs out. I'm thinking pimps and hoes. I'm thinking I'm on the street corners. You know what I'm saying? Like for real. So it's just like one of them things where it's like one bad situation after another. And I don't have a good experience with dealing with a black church in regards to business. I do not have not one good experience. Even if they pay on time, they would pay on time and want lobster for chicken leg prices. You know what I'm saying? And talk crazy to you at the same time. So even if you develop, you know what I'm saying, a relationship and a rapport where it's known for you to show up on time, to develop high products, high services, they want it for cheap. Right. They want to talk crazy to you. And it's bananas. And it's been a stretch. I'm not just saying like one church. I can name like 4 different prominent churches here in Atlanta. Prominent churches in Atlanta. And it's the same psychology, the same business practices with all of them. Where if you want to find a pimp, if you want to find a hustler, go to church. You know,
and that's tough to hear that. So, just throw out the first few things that come to your head that would just change that dynamic. What are some things that can be tweaked within a black church to run better business?
I think one thing is to definitely hire qualified people to do what it is that you need them to do. Okay. You know what I mean? Like if you have somebody over accounting, make sure they're real. If you have somebody over marketing, make sure they're real. And not being so hell-bent on only having to hire people who are a part of the church. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because the other part of the hustle is that they take their 10% out of your paycheck by you being a member of the church. You know what I'm saying? Where imagine going to work every day and your company is saying, I'm gonna take my 10% out your paycheck, because they do that for real. That's just like, wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't even leave it an option for me. You just take my 10%.
That's tough.
Yeah,
that's stiff.
Yeah. So definitely being able to hire real people to do real work. Because the problem is when you're hiring these fake people, it shows up over and over and over again. It's never one of them things where if I need for you to be skilled at, you know what I'm saying, being a heart surgeon, and you're not, I'm going to die over and over and over again. But the thing about having that free money is that a lot of these churches, they burn through money left and right because it ain't their money. You know what I'm saying? They might be like, oh, well, you know, that's a bad look, but we're going to get us another $400,000 next Sunday.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we'll make up that $10,000 that we lost. Well, it's just like it's never their money, so they're not really concerned. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So hire the real people. And then the third part, I would say any and every black church out here, this would be a clear indication of you having the potential of going to the right church, is whether or not they have an entrepreneur ministry designed specifically for entrepreneurs. You know what I'm saying? And the church is able to leverage their banking relationships, leverage their relationships within the community to support black business for real. Because I can't think of not one black church that's actually doing that. I'm sure, hopefully I'm wrong. Yeah. And if I'm wrong, y'all please
contact us. info@noblesol.net.
Please contact me, because I will be there next Sunday.
Yeah.
I will be there next Sunday in full support, because that's the problem where, you know what I'm saying, we have all these business owners and all these people who want to start their businesses, but you got ministry this, you got ministry that, you got ministry this, you got ministry that, but you don't have anything developed to really support entrepreneurs in your congregation and in your community. You know, and that's a big problem. That's a real big problem.
And just kind of piggybacking off the last thing you just said, first thing came to my mind was like ministry this, ministry that. That's what I would say is one of the things I would like to see change in the black churches. Keep the ministry, and keep the business.
Right.
Because the business should be able to provide revenue to do more ministry, right? But when you try to blend the ministry into the business, those are just two worlds that don't really mix.
Right.
And not to say business is all immoral, unethical, but business is business. Business is black and white. Ministry is within your faith,
right,
which is based off believing in something that you can't see.
Right.
That don't work in business. So keep those two things separated, so you don't want to dilute your ministry, but you also don't want to have bad practices in your business. So if you take one thing from what I'm saying or what we're saying, is separate those two. And I think the churches that I see winning, and not to say any church is losing, but I'm saying winning as far as their business, are the churches that clearly separate that. Those are the businesses, the churches that have business people handling the business, and the ministry leaders handling the ministry. And that's not to say that there aren't some ministry leaders that can handle business, but if they're great ministry leaders, why would you want to take their time away from leading your ministry to handle your business? When you could hire someone that they're only there to handle your business. So that's one thing I would definitely like to see more of our churches implement, because I see that strategy when I go into other cultures, other demographics. I see it. I see the franchising that the church is doing. I see the alternative business that's being opened within the church. I mean, you go to churches now and they have Subways, they have Starbucks, they have recording studios, they have rock climbing walls, they have, I mean, there's so many things where you can see that there's somebody within the fold that's like, okay, these things make money. That money can be used to fuel this ministry. If you're fueling this ministry, you can continue to help people around the world. But how do you do that if you can't leave your county? And if you don't have the money, you can't leave your county. So now you're doing bad business, and now you're running a bad ministry. And I would say that's something that, you know, is definitely heavy on my heart for our churches, because I do business with black churches. But outside of doing business with black churches, if you live within a predominantly black community, you're around a lot of churches, because we have just as many churches as we have liquor stores and chicken shacks. But they need to run right. You know, if they were running right, we wouldn't need 10 churches in one neighborhood. That's obviously that something's going wrong. Something ain't happening, because you don't need 10 different hubs to get souls on the same street. Not if they take them to the same place. That's a whole different conversation. I'm not going to get into that, but that shows you that the decision making is kind of blurred and not consistent, and that decision making leads over into your business. So if you didn't learn anything else from what we're talking about, just find a way to separate that. That means hire more people, like you said. Hire qualified people. You may not be able to get somebody to tithe their talent to the church.
Oh, that's another topic.
You know, and that's something that you hear a lot.
We need to speak on that.
Tithing your talent is like, okay, you're an accountant, you're a lawyer, you're a construction worker. This is what you do. This is how you provide for your family. This is what we would pay anybody else to do. Can you tithe your talent back to the church?
You're gonna get blessings.
Which is great. I'm not knocking any blessings, but if I'm doing what I'm supposed to do in the community, if my heart is pure, if my mind is right, those blessings are coming to me either way. Those blessings are coming to me even when I invoice companies to do my work. Even when I get a salary for doing my work. So why does it change now that I have to do what I do for free? Because that's what that means, for free. For anybody that's like, oh, well, you know, you're against tithing. That's not what I said. Listen to what we're saying. You'll hear tithe your talent, tithe your time, tithe your service. So when they say tithe your time, that'll be, okay, this event is 8 hours. We're going to pay you for 8 hours, but we actually need you for 14. Can you tithe the rest? Why would I do that? If this is my business, this is what I actually do for a living. Why would I do that? Like that makes no sense at all. You know, tithing services could be, we have a banquet going on. You have a restaurant. Could you provide all of the food for the banquet? Not, can I discount it? Not, okay, can we work up a proposal to see if we can afford it? It just goes straight to, can you just give it to us? And I think that runs away the quality people you need at your church, because someone that's running business every day, invoices, accounts receivable, they don't want to come talking about free. And that's not a money hungry thing. No, it's a business thing.
And the thing is, the funny thing about that is they approach you on the free, but they pulling in $500,000 on a Sunday. You know what I mean? $1 million on Sunday, or 500,000, or 100,000, or $5. You pulling in whatever you pulling in. But yet I'm supposed to come in there and tithe.
For free.
And on top of that, I'm coming in there to tithe when there's nothing in this structure that helps me as a business owner. There is nothing within the black church's structure to help us become stronger entrepreneurs. So what are y'all talking about? That sounds stupid.
And outside of that, when I see, and this is not just, because let's break it down, because some church leaders may be watching this, they may say, well, I don't get $1 million on Sunday. Let's break it down. Let's say you may be getting $5,000 on Sunday. I've worked with some of those small churches. Even those small churches, they fly people in for speaking engagements, pay them, flights, hotels, Right?
Right.
And then I'll meet with him and we're talking about the logistics for the event, and we talking about setup, the print materials, the flyers, banners, whatever it is. You want me to do everything for free.
Right.
So I'm supposed to provide my services for free for an event that I know you're paying someone else to come perform it. Because I look at that as a performance.
Right.
That's how I look at it personally. That's a performance.
Accurate.
So I'm in a meeting, and it's like, so then when the meeting when the business doesn't happen, you know, you kind of get a little salty towards me, like, oh, I thought you were about the community, you know, all the stuff you be saying on Facebook. I thought I'm the same guy. But then you also see on my timeline when I'm out with all of my kids.
Right.
And you see that my wife loves sea bass and steak and shrimp and lobster.
Right.
Then you see that we have a home, not an apartment. And you see that we live in an area where we have to pay for stuff. Yeah. Like, so that's a part of my life too. Yeah. So I'm still the same guy that's for our community. I'm still the same guy that want to see you win. But why would you want to take money away from me, take money away from me being able to provide for my family, just so you can put that budget into somebody else to fly in? Right. Like that's that fair, and I think that's where the lack of business comes in mind. Because if you were handling a business before you even flew that person in, you would have worked up a budget. Right. That budget would have included all the line items you needed. And the last thing that you can figure out is how much can we afford to pay this person? Right. It shouldn't start with, let me call John because he's killing it in the Mississippi. Right. John, how much you want for this Sunday? I want about $5,000 and a flight, hotel room, and food. You know, I like that fried chicken and macaroni. Yes. So you spending 10. Let's say you spending 8 because you got a car service. Right. You want to come see the city when you're in Atlanta. I want to go to the aquarium. Yeah. I want to go out. I got to hit Roof Chris. You know, 'cause that's what I do. I'm living it up. Right. But you want me to do everything for free because you planned your event on a name, as opposed to planning your event on P&Ls, profit and loss, what makes money, what loses money, which is how the decision should be made.
That would require for them to have a professional in that role.
So it goes right back to the beginning, that hiring the people for the job, not just the person in front of you. The person in front of you may not be for the job. And I mean, that's across the board, but specifically, we've both seen this within the black church. And again, that's not a knock. That's not disrespecting any black churches. We wouldn't be making this video if we didn't want to see you winning. Right. If we didn't want to see you doing better, we could have filmed something else. Yeah. We want to see you win, which is the whole reason that we're filming this. So we appreciate you being here for another episode of The Morning OJ. I apologize in advance for anybody that was, ruffled and your feathers went the wrong way. But the truth is the truth. We're always going to keep it transparent. We're always going to tell the truth. Black churches need to do better business.
Period.
Right.
Y'all suck right now. Y'all suck.